To all the Pakistanis and Nustins across the globe, it's a hello and an assalamu alaikum from the Scholars Avenue. Today we're going to talk about structures and infrastructures. They are important. From centuries, we have witnessed the structural marvels like the Great Wall of China, to the Burj Khalifa, and to the Brooklyn Bridge. They all have one thing in common, and that is stability and the strength to withstand any natural calamities. So who are the people behind these structural geniuses? Who are the people who make sure that the buildings are strong enough to withstand any force majeures? We have with us today the head of department Geotechnical Engineering, Dr. Badee Alshameri. Dr. Badee, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for joining us.
Barakallah feek.
You're a field guy, aren't you?
Yes.
And now, after so many years, you have opted for academia and teaching.
Yes.
So, how's the trade-off coming by?
It's like a long story, It's starting that after the graduation, I was like looking for any field work. But because, the situation there, I just diverged a little bit to the education, but it was in the lower size, it was in the Ministry of Education. Later, I just switched again to the field, but this time with the private, sector. Then after that, after starting the master and finishing the master, it's come to my mind, I should back to academia. I feel that I can contribute a lot if I engage in academia. And in our case, in the geotechnical engineering, it's not about the academia. We also engage in the field. We engage with the companies. So we are not only stuck with offices and classes. We need to go outside. We need to do a designing. We need to do projects and industrial projects. So I found the only option that I can satisfy both field and academia is to join to the university as a lecturer.
So you're a living, breathing example of what you love and
Exactly.
what is needed.
Yes.
So you were a huge fan of geographical information systems.
Yeah.
So, on to the University of Sana'a, and you completed your undergrad in the earth sciences.
Yes.
So while we were having a discussion with you, you said that this is the combination of earth sciences and the civil engineering,
Yes.
culminating into the geotechnical engineering.
Exactly.
So how did you make that trade-off? Because you were more interested in the GIS and you stepped into this geotechnical business.
Yes.
So how did that happen?
It is a long story, but the thing that when I graduated from the earth science, I like to have this remote sensing and the thing which is related to the earth science, geology, But because the condition in Yemen, I found that it's so difficult to continue with the same manner, especially in the remote sensing. If you want to work in the remote sensing, you need to engage with the public sector, which is a little bit difficult. So I look back, then I found there's another sector which is so interesting and it's needed in Yemen, which is a geotechnical.
Is it true? Sorry to interject.
Yeah.
Is it true that back in the days when you did your undergrad in the earth sciences, you were working at the Ministry of Education, right?
Yes.
And what your story tells me is that there were not many geotechnical engineers back at Yemen at those days.
Exactly.
So what was that about? I mean, the world isn't aware of the geotechnical back in Yemen at that time?
Even if I'm look at this moment, still the same culture in Yemen, that there is an underestimated for the geotechnical. There is like no enough importance given to the geotechnical engineering. And because that one, let me just give you an interesting statistics that I found it in 2006, that more than 80% of the earthen dam in Yemen has been collapsed because the geotechnical, not the structure. So you can imagine that 80% failure in the dams because the geotechnical engineering, not because the structure, not because anything else. So that's, become alarm that there is a problem. So at that stage, the government take an action that no dam will be built until the geotechnical is there. So they start the action, but they start that action in the what we call the mega project like the dam. But when we talk about the normal project like a buildings, like a bridge, they still leakage in that one. They didn't take an action for that one. But maybe inshallah in the future they will do that one.
So, I mean, why is there so much negligence in the geotechnical side in Pakistan specifically? While I was having a conversation with you, what are the consequences that follows when you are negligent of the ground investigation? What happens then? We are aware that there will be structural failures. But so how do you address that?
Okay, it's not only about the structure failure. This is a problem, that it's not about the structure failure, because here what they do, they just ignore the soil investigation, they ignore the geotechnical design, and many times there is no failure, which is an interesting. How come that you ignore that one and there is no failure?
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, but the thing that what's happened, they are not concerned, they don't have any concern about the geotechnical. So what they do, in return, they make an overestimated on the design. So a foundation which costs like 1 million, 2 million, they make it with a cost maybe 10 million.
I get it.
Because they just ignore that.
The cost exceeds.
Yeah.
You underestimate the geotechnical design and things happen.
Yes, exactly. So this is the thing. It's not about only the failure. It's about also the money, the cost. If you want to save and also reduce the cost of your project, you need to do a geotechnical investigation. That point is not in every businessman in. And let me tell you something. It's not only about the businessman, or it's not only about the investment. It's sometimes in the academia itself. And the people who graduated from the civil engineering, they have this underestimating in the geotechnical engineering. And because that one, they give a recommendation with a high cost to avoid any failure. So it's a failure. When you give a recommendation which costs much more than the actually cost, that's also a failure.
Absolutely.
A failure in the term of the economics, in the term of the money.
Absolutely. So how do you ensure that once you're once you're going project to project?
Yes.
And there's not too much trend around here of all these soil investigations and the ground investigations. And how do you convince people that this is an integral part of the structural formation of the buildings or any other structure? So there is no trend around here.
Yeah.
And so why is it so? Why is the avoidance in the first place? Why are people avoiding this? The stakeholders.
As I told you, that it's a culture there. And let me tell you something, this culture is not only in Pakistan. It was even in the developed country like USA. If we talk about 100 years ago, they have the same culture. Geotechnical engineering is nothing. So they are focusing more in the structure design. So how you work with the concrete, with the steel, that's the most critical thing. So in USA it was like that also, until there is a big accident, a big failure in a major dam. And because that one, the trend of this ignorance of the geotechnical is turned. Now from that one, they start to say, okay, nothing will be done without geotechnics. Nothing will be done without what we call a preliminary investigation.
So do you think, Doc, I'm going to stop you there. Do you think that there's a growing understanding of the geotechnical engineering in Pakistan now? Do you think people are now trying to understand, they're more cognizant of the fact that we need to understand this field of study as well?
Okay.
Monitoring the soil before we, erect any structures.
Okay, let me tell you something. In Pakistan, there is an action start. You remember that when it was an earthquake I think in 19s, is it the 19s or 2005, something like that?
Yes, it was.
And there's a big loss at that one.
Yes.
Sorry for that one. But at that stage, the government start to have an action. And nowadays that you cannot build any house without soil investigation here in Pakistan. You cannot do it. I'm talking about the cities. So if you want to build something, you need to have a soil investigation report with a geotechnical design. So there is an action start. But if that action is reach or satisfy the requirement, the actually requirement, not yet. We need more. So I think the first step that we needed is to convince our graduates, especially the people who graduated from the civil engineering, because anyone have a bachelor in civil engineering, he's also geotechnical engineer. It's not like only so he need to have a capacity to do a geotechnical engineering. So we start these steps, alhamdulillah, like 4 years ago. We start these steps to convince our students that geotechnical is matter. And you are a civil engineer. Do not say that I will be graduated as a geotechnical engineering, as a structural engineer, as transport. No, you will graduate as a civil engineer.
It is a branch of the civil engineering, right?
Yes.
It is a branch of the civil engineering.
So we have a different branch in civil engineering. We have structure, geotechnical, transportation, water resource, construction management. All of this is a branch of civil engineering.
We do not offer any undergrad in geotechnical engineering, do we?
No university around the world, they have this undergrad in geotechnical engineering.
This is a more exclusive, specific course that's being offered in the masters and PhDs,
yes,
right?
Exactly. So it's like they are taking some subjects in undergrad. Then when they come to the master level or PhD level, if they want to become more specialist, then they go to the geotechnical engineering, but not from the undergrad.
People like us, the people of this age, sometimes we are discussing with friends and we're talking about this, that the buildings that used to be there were constructed by the people thousands of years ago, and now the buildings are being constructed in this age. Why is it that the buildings constructed so many years ago, so many thousands of years ago, have sustained this? For me, it's a big mystery. These days the buildings collapse. The new buildings, they collapse. Okay. And I just took a few names. You talk about the Great Wall of China. I mean, this is huge.
Yeah.
It has been there for ages. Why is it that the older buildings have sustained, the new buildings haven't been able to do?
Okay. So it's not like about the old. I agree with this point. Yeah, there's a lot of old buildings where they sustain for 100 years.
Yes.
That's true. But now, if I make a simple comparison between the old buildings and new buildings, there is a difference in terms of the structure of the building itself. So, in the new building, you can see that they have this tall building, high-rising building.
Yeah, vertical construction.
And this vertical construction is not there in the old. It's like if they do like that, they will make it like with the acceptable ratio between the tall to the width. So they succeed in that one. Nowadays that we have a different, we are going to skyscraper, which is like the length is huge compared with the width.
Yes.
So this is special cases.
I was just reading Burj Khalifa alone is 827 meters.
Yeah, that's a special cases.
Yes.
And you put it in the small area. You have a huge load putting in the small area.
Yes.
Now, the technique that you use now is not similar to the technique that you used before. Before, they will not apply a huge load in the small area.
Okay. Yes.
Now we do that. Now, when we do that, we need to see what's going in. Doesn't mean that the old building doesn't have a failure. They have a failure, but it's not like common like we have now. Now, if a big building fail these days, we will know because the internet, because the communication, so we will know that there is a failure there. Before that, we don't have this communication. If something happened in one building, we will know that.
We wouldn't know about it.
Unless if that building is like a famous building, like a very famous building, Then we know, like
more iconic building.
what we call that tower in Italy. What we call
Pisa
that,
Tower.
the Pisa Tower.
That's
a failure.
They call it the most the best structural failure. No, they call it something else. The best structural failure. The best structural failure. It still is there.
You know why is there? Because the structure is good. Problem from the foundation. Problem comes from
foundations.
You see, the structure is good, but the foundation is not good. So that's you have this inclination in the tower, and that also in an old building. But you see, there's a failure, and that failure not coming from the structure. Again, it's coming from the under the structure, from the foundation, from the geotechnical.
So what's the market for the geotechnical engineers out there? I'm only talking about Pakistan right now.
Yes. Okay. That's another concern that we try our best to explain to our students, to our graduates. Because in Pakistan, there's a trend, unfortunately, that the trend that students, they opted to, for example, to structure, they opted for construction, and they say that there is a lot of market for that one. If I'm talking about the absolute number, yes, that's true. But if I'm talking about the relative numbers, I mean, I compare the vacancy which in the markets compared with the graduated who have a background in that one. There's a saturation in this trend. There's saturation in the structure, in construction, but there is a leakage in geotechnical. If I give you a simple calculation, which like an example, is
yes.
We can say that maybe we have 100,000 of civil engineering who have packed with the structure, and we have maybe less than 5,000, maybe 1,000 of civil engineer who packed with the geotechnical. When you go to the market, you will see there's maybe 10,000, 15,000 a job for civil who packed with the structure. So in another side, there's only maybe 10 or maybe 1,000 job for the people who packed with the geotechnical. So you can see the people who graduated from geotechnical background, they can easily get a job, while the other people, they are suffering because there is saturation in the graduated students who packed in this domain.
So is the younger lot aware of that? Some programs are just trends, like the emerging technologies. You cannot help it. The engineering has suffered. And we've been talking about this a lot, that, the traditional engineering programs, the electrical, the mechanical, they've all suffered recently. And we've been trying to find an answer for this as well. What happens, and how do you tell the younger generation out there?
Okay. So first thing,
do they even know this, that geotechnical is the end game?
Unfortunately, that they don't know, and we spend a lot of effort to convince them that that's what's going in the market, especially in Pakistan. Now, if I go outside of Pakistan, if you have a background geotechnics, it's not like you will have a job. No, we will have a high salary job. But in Pakistan, if you pack with the geotechnical engineering, I'm talking about the undergraduate, you will have an extra chance to win any job which announced, because the company now, what they do, they announce for the job and they said, okay, we need one who can do a multitask. They do structure, they do transportation, they do a geotechnics. And if you come and you say, okay, I can do only one thing, they say, okay, we don't need you. There's another one who can compensate that one. So this was happening in the market. So we try to convince our graduates, our students, that please expand your background.
Yes, because the way I see it, it's the most essential initiation. It's the most essential point. It's the beginning of where all the construction, all the development happens. I'm sure the development sector knows this. I mean, are they deliberately avoiding this? Because I've been asking questions over and over again. I'm very interested. I feel like, they are more, they're not proactive, they're reactive. The punishment comes after the crime, but they need to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
But, it becomes a liability later on. You are not prepared in the beginning. Things will be bad later on. You're not prepared.
Yeah.
And some building collapses, some bridge collapses, and then it's all on the geotechnical engineers.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Let me tell you like a small story. I have one project in Miri. That project regarding transmission tower.
Where was it exactly?
In Miri. In Miri is near to Kashmir.
Miri?
Yeah, Miri.
Yes, it's Miri.
Not Miri, Mirpur, sorry.
Mirpur.
Mirpur.
Yes. Mirpur.
Sorry about that one.
It's okay.
In Mirpur, you know. So that tower, they want to reposition that tower. They need to rise that tower because there's a problem related to the water, and that water causes electrical.
Again, what kind of a tower it was?
It's a high transmission tower. It's a big tower.
Telecommunications?
No, this is related to electricity. You know.
Okay.
It's these projects be under supervision of WAPDA. ISCO, I think ISCO.
ISCO. Yes.
So near to this tower, there is a bridge, very long bridge. That bridge, they didn't complete it. Why? They reached to one point, and they cannot install anything. They cannot install the bare of the bridge, so they can continue the bridge. Whenever they put any foundation in that area, there is a failure. So they stop.
Why was it?
In the same area, it's like here we have here the tower and the bridge is coming there. So these are long bridge become useless. And they told me that bridge is like, I think more than 10 or 15 years. Damn. That's a big loss. That's a big loss. Now, if you spend more time and less money, you know, the funny thing that the cost of the geotechnical investigation is not too much. If we say like 1,000 for the whole project, for the geotechnical, you will not spend more than 50 rupees.
That's exactly my point, Dr. Badee. I'm trying to ask you, this is something that I'm asking you over and over again. Why would...
So it's not even 50 rupees.
Why the hesitation?
It's maybe 10 rupees. 10 rupees. It's not 50. Sorry, I was like over the...
It's much lesser.
It's much less.
The cost of having an investigation in the soil. Why would somebody hesitate? This is a big question. Are there any secrets that you don't want to tell me?
It's not a secret. You know, you are a businessman.
Okay.
So you will evaluate something that you can see. You know, you will see these columns, these beams, then you say, okay, that's a good columns, that's good beams, this is a good building. Because you see that one. So you will see, you will ask, who do that one? This is done by the structures, by construction management. They say, okay, we'll spend more money in this one. And you will never ask about what is under the building because you cannot see it. So as a normal guy, as a businessman, as an investment, you don't know about there is something which, you know, bear all of this building. So you don't care about that one. You will spend more money in the visible thing. So this in terms of the people who's not aware about the structures. About
so there is no lack of expertise and experience. There is just, you know, this is purely what? This is what kind of an avoidance is this?
It's like expertise. We have an issue, especially in Pakistan. Now, if you go around in Pakistan, you will see that we have a lot of mega projects in Pakistan.
Lots of construction happening.
Yes, and this construction, whenever there is a work in that one, they call an expert from outside of Pakistan. Why? That's a question need to be answered. We have a people who is an expert, the Pakistanis, who usually left to outside of Pakistan and they become a flag. So we have an expert, but those experts, they cannot find what we call an opportunity to apply their experience there. So they just left. And the people, the young people who are coming, they found that the trend in Pakistan that they are underestimate geotechnics.
Yes.
So the first thing they say, okay, let's go and find another place.
Now we're back to square one. I understand the whole thing. You were born in Taiz.
Yes.
And grew up in Sana.
Yes.
Were you thinking about pursuing the earth sciences? Did you have any thought in it, or you always wanted to become an engineer? What's that story?
Yeah, okay. So at the beginning, when I engaged with the earth science, I was looking for the oil sector, because in Yemen we have a big oil sector.
Lots of oil.
And if you engage with the oil sector, you become a rich man.
Yes.
You see the thing,
A good living.
Yeah. Even though that I'm a good in mathematics, I really like mathematics. I was the top in the mathematics, but I say just there is an opportunity, and if I go to the oil, that will be a big chance. Same thing that I didn't get my chance to engage with the engineering, faculty of engineering, so I switched to an earth science. So it's an earth science, it's not an engineering. So that's.
Is it close to geology?
It's a geology.
It's close to geology, right?
Yes, it's geology, but we can say that earth science is like a border.
Okay.
So I didn't engage with the earth science. I graduated, and I was also the top in my undergraduate.
MashaAllah.
So I try my best to engage in the Ministry of Oil, because that was my
That was
target.
the goal. That was the goal.
That's what target. Again, because situation in Yemen, I couldn't. So I diverse because I need to have a job. I cannot stay without a job. So I just diverse to the Ministry of Education. So I spent like maybe 6 years, more than
6 years, yes.
Then I found myself, that's not my job. Even though that was a government job.
Must be a very highly paid job for you.
It's
back
not
there.
high, but it's like
Was a government job at the end of the day.
stability there.
Yes, it was pure stability.
And the people, they are fighting for that one.
Yes.
I'm not sure about Pakistan, but I think in Pakistan the same. The people there, they will be so happy if they engage with the government job. Because stability
Absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. No one would even think about
Yeah,
quitting a government job.
Exactly. So I found that that's not my area. That's not my area.
No,
So
but why? Why all of a sudden the change of mind, the change of plans?
I found myself at the beginning, I was happy that I have a job, I have a government job. That with the time, I found that there is no progress. And I don't like that. I don't want to stay in some place when there is no progress. It's become like a routine. And when the routine comes, everything will go.
No, you were tired of the monotony. You wanted to break it.
Exactly.
Or I think since the beginning, I have a very strong feeling that you had a thing for teaching. I don't know why. You love doing that, don't you?
It's not nothing. I always love the field work, not teaching.
No,
To be honest with you,
Yes.
I was really engaged to.
But you couldn't do that, right? You had to trade off again.
Yeah. You know why I was loving that one? Because my father also, he's an engineer. He's an electrical engineer. He's graduated from Russia.
Your parents are back in Yemen?
Yes. Yeah. So he's most of his life he's in the field. He was in the field, until he's retired. He doesn't have a fixed office, even though he's a government employee. So
things got pretty bad in Yemen.
yes.
And then probably you went on a scholarship. I think that was one of the most difficult decisions for you to make.
Yes.
Going all the way to Malaysia. University of Technology? That's what it is, where you did your master's?
Yeah. And when I did my master, it was in University of UTM.
You had a lot of difficult decision making in your life to do. Your story tells me.
Yes.
The other day we had a conversation and I was,
Yeah.
I was stunned
Yeah.
that you made lots of sacrifices. Again, the thing you loved,
Yeah.
you didn't pursue that. You pursue something else. And then while you're about to pursue your master's, there are like 3 or 4
Option,
options for you
Yes.
to pursue in your master's.
Yes.
And why settle for the geotechnical? That's the question.
Yeah. So when I got my scholarship, then I went to Malaysia. Then I got these 3 options. First option to go to water resource, which is also close to my earth science.
Yes, it is.
Remote sensing.
That's the one you love.
Yeah,
That's the one you absolutely love.
I like it. I like it from when I was also an undergraduate.
Yes.
I like also the geophysics. I have also geophysics is they use some tools in the remote sensing as a part of that, and geotechnical. So I got the 3. I got 3 admission from different prestige university, which is the top like 300 something.
Wow.
So I sit, then I say, okay, now I need to have my decision. and it will go. It's not like I do it now, then after 2 months there is nothing. So I'll think about the remote sensing, which is the first one. Then I thought, okay, if I did my remote sensing, then I return to Yemen, it will be difficult to have a job.
You had that in mind.
And then, yeah, and I have a bad experience in that one. So
Absolutely.
I said, okay, that's out. And that's out. I say it now, that's out, but it was not easy.
It was tough.
Yeah, it wasn't. Then we came to the water resource. Yemen, there's a problem with the water resource. But the problem also in the water resource, we don't have a private sector who is handling the water resource. We have only the government. Now the same issue. Say, I cannot just do the same experience that I have before, the bad experience. Then out. Then I have a geotechnical. In Yemen, we have a problem with geotechnical. We don't have an expertise in geotechnics. We have, but they are so limited, really so limited. And there is a chance to work in two sectors, public and private. So that was my decision. That's the way, that's the domain that I can do something. So I opted that one, geotechnics. And believe me, it was a so difficult decision. Switching from science to engineering.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy. It's not an easy, even until this moment, my friend, my colleagues, they keep asking me that, how did you manage to switch from science to engineering?
That's exactly my question as well.
That's difficult.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, that's a difficult. And you switch in the master level, but I succeed. And
you finally got the scholarship.
Yeah, I got the scholarship, and I start my master.
Back at home, things were okay, or politically?
It was okay.
Things were okay back then.
So it was okay, until 2011. At 2011, I finished my master. Then it was the time to return back to home, because I need now to work at
You
my
wanted
home.
to go back to home?
Yes. I have no plan to stay outside. Even in my PhD, I have no plan to stay.
Okay.
I need to go back to home. I mean, why I'm studying outside, then stay outside. And then my country, you need me?
Absolutely. Yes.
So I returned to Yemen. Then at Yemen, the situation became so bad. When I returned to Yemen, somehow I got an opportunity in the Ministry of Oil. And it was a big achievement.
Yeah, it was a dream realizing, a dream come true.
And I was in the company, which is like a semi-government company. We call it as a YCOM.
Vicom, right?
YCOM, yes. And that company it was a big company. And it's so difficult to enter that company. But somehow I entered that company. So I started there from 2011. And during that one, I got another opportunity from the Ministry of Higher Education of Yemen to get a scholarship for the PhD, because I satisfy all the requirements for the PhD.
So how did you plan that? Was it in your head that you're going to go for a doctoral degree?
After I get my master?
No, the question is that how did you plan to do your
PhD?
Was it in your head that you want to do your PhD?
Before the master?
No, while you were at the Vicom.
Uh,
How did you plan? Were you planning to pursue your PhD?
Yes.
Because if you're pursuing for a PhD, then there's no point of. I don't see a PhD working at an oil company. I see.
No. You are right at that point.
Yes.
So at that point, my salary, my economic situation, it was really
You
comfortable.
were pretty stable.
Yeah, and having the scholarship at that time, I was hesitate. Even my family, they said, "Okay, no need to go. You already have everything. Why you go? What do you do with a PhD?" Yeah,
And so why did you?
because the thing that I have it from my master, that after I finish my master, the plan is there. I plan that I need to go to the PhD when I finish my master.
Okay.
When I engage with this company, the plan is like become down. But when I got the scholarship,
That was enough motivation for
then
you.
I say, okay, it's maybe 3 years or 4 years. Then I can go back to the company. I will not go to the academia. I was not planning to go to the academia. I just planning to back again to the company. And let me tell you something. When I engaged with the company, I got an opportunity to become a lecturer at Sanaa University, which is my university. But I didn't select it, and it was in Geotechnical also. I didn't. I said, okay, I don't want to go there. I'm comfortable here in the company because there is a lot of what we call advantage in that company. So I said, I have a decision of team, not my decision. I sat with my wife because she's my friend, she's my wife, she's everything for me.
You must have had a very difficult time back at home.
Yeah.
Because I can see that your family must have been concerned that why? I mean, you're having a great time here. Why should you go to Malaysia for a PhD in the first place?
Because during the master, it was not like an easy. The experience in Malaysia during the master, it's not like an easy, an easy life. It was a tough life because the scholarship that I got is barely I can survive with that one. So
the one thing I need to tell the audience as well.
Yeah.
The one thing that truly amazed me was during your masters, you not even once went back to Yemen.
Yes, 3 years.
And when you completed it, then you flew back to Yemen.
Yes.
It was 3 years out of home.
Do not go far away. I finished my PhD. Then I switched to Pakistan. I spent more than 10 years outside of Yemen. But this time, not because I don't want to go. I want to go, but because situation in Yemen. At that time, I want to go to Yemen, but I don't have enough finance to go and back, Barely I can survive. Then when I finish, I just run back to Yemen. So this is the thing that sometimes you need to sacrifice to get your target.
Absolutely.
You'll be in tough time for the limited time. Later, this thing will be changed.
So the one thing that your story tells me, perseverance personified, Dr. Badee. It was a really inspiring account. You had some very difficult decisions to make.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
Yes.
Now we understand this.
Yeah.
It's when there's a point in life when you try to juggle the balls. That what are you going to do and what are you not going to do.
So
you got to sacrifice a lot. So on to the Tun Hassan for PhD. So what happens there now?
So in the PhD, I have another plan. It's not like the master. Now, my situation, my finance is different. So I can manage to go and back yearly, and even not yearly, every 3 months, 4 months, I can go back. Now I have my company, they can support me by the role of the company. So I went to Malaysia, even though that the company at that point, they didn't allow me to go. They said, if you go, you will be split from the company, you will be out.
Oh my.
So
that was the situation back.
Yeah.
It was not favorable for you.
Yeah, it was. Then
Did you go back and forth during the PhD to Yemen as well?
At the first, I went for 2 months with the old plan. What was the old plan? That I will go 2 months. I will stay in Malaysia 2 months. I will manage my thing. Then I will return to Yemen. Then I will start to do my work in Yemen, which is related to the also PhD. Then after that, I will go back to Malaysia. I spend maybe 2-3 months to discuss with my supervisors, whatever is that one, collect samples, do any experiments there. Then I will back to Yemen. It was my plan like this. So when I do like that, I will not lose my job, and I will not lose my scholarship.
Yes.
So at that point, the company was like, okay, you can do like that.
So we sponsor you.
Yeah, they're not.
You can resume the scholarship, but you get your salary as well.
We will allow to you, and as well as salary, of course, it will be there.
Yes.
Even though they deduct a lot of money from my salary, I have it in my heart. It's so bad.
That is a painful. That was a painful point for you.
My salary is dubbed like this. It was so bad. But never mind. I went there. I have a meeting with the supervisor. Then I told them about the situation. Then he say, okay, look, Badee, you cannot do that. You need to stay here. Like, huh?
That's another challenge for you.
How come? I said that, but I have the company that. I said, no. Then he said, I will allow you to go to Yemen to stay 2 months to bring your family and come here. But you are not going to go back. Then now it's come to the, I don't know, is it the second or third hard decision that should I continue or I go back? Because if I continue, I will lose a lot of things in company. And that's huge.
It's pretty huge.
Yeah, that's a huge one. So I said, then again, after a long discussion and many calculations, I did a lot of calculations.
You're good at mathematics, aren't you?
See what will happen, and if we go, then what will be the opportunity? Can I have another opportunity? Then I found, okay, I should not leave that one. I went back to Malaysia, and this time to stay there. So I stayed there until 2014, when the war again come to Yemen.
That's the unfortunate series of events that are about to begin.
Yes.
This was 2014.
Yeah.
14.
So at that time, the Minister of Higher Education have difficulties in sponsor us because our money is coming from them. So they start to delay of the payment for us. And we have a limited source. Even I told you that the company reduced my salary from the beginning because I decided to go there. So I found that, okay, now it's a troubled time. Even though at the beginning I wasn't relaxing. So my supervisor, lucky that he said, okay, he called me, they said, Badee, now you need to go and apply with the MTCB. MTCB is a new scholarship, a government scholarship from Malaysia, MTCB. And it's a tough scholarship. It's a competitive scholarship. There's a lot of international students apply. And I remember when we applied that year, the Ministry of Higher Education, he told us that the people who applies is 3,000, more than 3,000, 3,100.
And how many do they select?
I think 100.
100?
Yes.
Well, that's a very privileged one.
So I apply, and the funny thing that one of the conditions for that scholarship that you should not have another scholarship, but I have. So they call me for the interview, and usually they have like 3 stages, a paper stages, then they call for the interview, then after the interview they have the final stage. So they call me for the interview. That's when I already passed the paper stage. So when they call me, I told them what I'm going to do in the PhD, what I'm planning to do after I finish what I should do. I saw the faces of the professor who make the interview, and I know that they are happy. Then I told them I have a statement, and please write that statement in your report. I have scholarship from the government of Yemen. Then they said, okay, but because the problem in Yemen, they really know what's happening. I apply here because now there is no guarantee for my scholarship which coming from Yemen.
Yeah, there's no financial
But
backup.
you
were scared of it.
Yeah, but I told them you need to write their statement, and they did it. 4 months ago, I received a call. Congratulations, you got the scholarship.
You got a double scholarship.
Yes.
That.
And believe me, when they called me, I said that, and they sent me some documents to fill, and from that document also I need to sign that I don't have scholarship. Then I bring an official letter from my supervisor, an official letter from the university that I'm studying, that I have a scholarship from Yemen. But because of the situation, I applied, and I sent this official letter that clearly mentioned I already have scholarship to the Ministry of Education of Higher Education of Malaysia. 2 months they sent the money. Finally accepted, even with the scholarship. So I got 2 scholarships in the same time.
You had your family in Malaysia by that time with you.
Yes, exactly. I cannot live without my family.
Mashallah.
I need to have it with them,
A true family guy.
Yes, I cannot. Yeah.
So you're done with your PhD.
Yes.
Now you know what I'm about to ask you, right? See, that is very surprising for me. How does Dr. Badee's paths cross with the National University of Sciences and Technology?
Okay. So when I finished my
You couldn't go back to Yemen at that time.
Yes, they told me. My family, my friends, my college in the company, they clearly say that, Badee, do not come back.
Don't come back.
Yes. Do not come back. Find any job outside, but do not come back. You'll be in trouble. And so I make my decision that I will not come back. It was tough because, everything is done. I finished my PhD. There's no scholarship, nothing. The only thing that I have is my salary from the company, which is not the whole salary.
Yes.
So I need to manage myself with that one. So during that one, I start to send my CV there and there and there. I send a lot of CVs. If I say 1,000 times, it may be more than 1,000 times. So it was like every day I'm sending like more than, with a range between 5 to 10 CVs. It's a huge. It's a huge. Sometimes I sent for the same university twice. They said maybe they did not know, maybe this one they didn't know. So during that one, I was like sending there, then there. I got a friend from Pakistan. He's my neighbor. Then he know about the situation and he said, Badee.
He was a fellow from the PhD?
Yeah, he was also, we are studying in the same university. We graduated from the same.
Yes.
But at that time, he didn't finish, I already finished, but he was staying there because usually the Pakistani, when they finish, they just return back.
Yes.
How they travel somewhere to have a job. So he said, Badee, did you try to send to Pakistan, University of Pakistan? Then I was looking to him, do you have universities at Pakistan?
I think this is going to be the end of the podcast now. Did you actually ask that? Do you have universities in Pakistan?
I was like, if you don't have any, I thought, my question is like, do you have university that can accept, people?
What were you thinking of Pakistan at that time?
I have almost nothing.
Nothing.
I know about Pakistanis. I know Pakistan have a nuclear weapons. I know because that all the Arab countries they know that one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know that they have a tough relationship with India. We know that. But in details,
do you have universities in Pakistan?
Yeah.
I'm not going to forget that. 200, 300 plus universities in Pakistan, probably.
And he was
More
like,
than that.
he's looking like, huh?
Yes, there are.
Then it was like, really nice with that one.
So you started applying for Pakistani universities as well?
I applied for 3 universities. One of them is NUST. And I applied to another university. I don't remember the name. It was a long time ago. I have a problem with the names. I need to fix that one.
It's okay.
So for that one, I received an email from the rector, the other university, not NUST. And he was like welcoming me. I said that we will try to put you in our staff. And it was like really encouraging for me. That
this was 2017, right? When you applied?
The pro-rector, I think. So it was, I think, the pro-rector of that university. He said that he will try to bring me to that university. Then also I sent to NUST. I didn't send to the HR. I sent to the HR and principal and also the rector and pro-rector. I sent to this one because I don't know what is the progress, what is the, the policy there. I received a call from the principal, from our principal, Dr. Tariq Mahmoud. He said that we will interview at that day. So I did the interview and I did another interview with other university from Papua New Guinea.
Oh.
And in the same week, I received 2 offer letters. One from NUST and another one from Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
That was also, one of my big decisions in my life because either I go to the other side to near to Australia, or I go to near to Yemen, which is in Pakistan.
Yes, absolutely. They were paying you a lot more over there. Must be paying you a lot more.
Yes, definitely. It's like maybe 3 times.
So why opted for NUST then?
First, NUST is a prestige university. Is within the top 300 university. That's a matter. NUST have a master and PhD programs, which is critical for me, for my career, for improve my career. They have a lot of network, a lot of work. I saw the labs in NUST. Then it's a big opportunity for any researcher who want to progress. The other side, that university is so young university, even though it's
you couldn't risk it. It was a very young university, so you thought.
So, and also the civility in that country is totally different from here in Pakistan. Let me tell you, sir, the culture in Pakistan is not so far from our culture. So, I have a family. I need to ensure that not my career is good, but also my family should be comfortable.
Absolutely, yes. Everyone would think like this.
So these two balance are founded in NUST.
So 2019, you arrived in NUST.
Yes.
And since then, you've been a part of this
Yes.
organization, this
Exactly.
university.
Yes.
Now you're the head of the department.
Yeah. I've been promoted the first time at the end of 2019. Then at 2013, they renew my contract as an HOD again. So it should be like this year will be finished, inshallah. So, but the thing that, even though that I didn't have a lot of money like Papua Guinea, but I received a lot from NUST.
Well, you finally made it.
Yeah. And if I say I love NUST, really I love NUST. I feel loyalty to NUST, and that's encouraged me to spend a lot of effort.
We're really happy that you're here, and we're really privileged to have people like you here. Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much. I wish I had more time. This conversation is never ending. I'd love to know more about the Yemeni culture and Yemeni food.
Inshallah, next time.
Probably in the next podcast, we'll sit and talk about it as well.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Barakallah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.